The night everything changed started with a single headlight in my rearview mirror, one headlight that had been following me for the last 15 miles through the darkest stretch of highway outside Seattle. My hands tightened on the throttles of my Ducati as my heart hammered against my ribs. I knew that bike, I knew the rider, and I knew exactly what it meant that Marcus had found me. 3 months. I'd had 3 beautiful, peaceful months in the city. 3 months of freedom, of building something new, of falling in love with someone who made me remember what safety felt like. And now, as that single headlight grew closer in my mirror, I realized it was all about to come crashing down. Because Marcus didn't just want me back, he wanted to destroy everything I'd built. And the woman I loved, Blake, had no idea what was coming for us. Let me back up. My name is Jordan Casey, and 6 months ago, I was trapped in the worst relationship of my life. Marcus Cole wasn't just controlling, he was dangerous. He rode with a crew called the Serpent Kings in Portland, and for 2 years, I convinced myself that his jealousy meant he loved me, that his need to know where I was every second of every day was just protection, that the way he isolated me from my friends was him wanting me all to himself. I was wrong. Dead wrong. The first time I tried to leave, he found me within 48 hours, showed up at my sister's apartment with flowers and tears and promises that he'd change. Like an idiot, I believed him. The second time I tried to leave, he made it clear there wouldn't be a third. He didn't hit me. Marcus was too smart for that, but he made sure I understood what would happen if I ran again. He'd find me. He'd hurt the people I cared about. He'd make sure I had nothing and no one. So I planned. For 6 months, I planned. I saved every dollar I could hide. I changed my phone number 3 times. I researched cities where I could disappear. And one Tuesday morning while Marcus was at a crew meeting, I packed a single backpack, got on my bike, and rode north. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Not my sister, not my old friends, no one. I just rode until Portland was a memory and Seattle rose up in front of me like a promise. The first few weeks were hell. I jumped at every shadow, checked my locks 5 times a night, avoided anywhere bikers might gather. I got a job at a coffee shop under the table, paid cash for a tiny studio apartment, and told myself this time would be different. This time, I'd stay invisible. Then I met Blake. It was a Thursday night, and I was walking home from work when I heard it. The unmistakable sound of a Harley with engine trouble. I followed the sound to a parking garage where a tall woman with coal-black hair was crouched next to a bike that was clearly not cooperating. She was cursing under her breath, and something about the frustration in her voice made me smile. "Need help?" I called out. She looked up, and I swear the world stopped. She had these piercing green eyes that seemed to see straight through me, sharp features that were somehow both intimidating and beautiful, and grease smeared across her left cheek. She looked at me for a long moment, then down at my boots, then back at my face. "You know bikes?" "I know enough." She stood, wiped her hands on her jeans, and gestured at the Harley. "Be my guest." I walked over and spent the next 20 minutes diagnosing the problem, a loose connection in the ignition system, easy fix once you knew where to look. She watched me the entire time, and I could feel the weight of her gaze on my skin. "You ride?" she asked when I finished. "Yeah. What do you have?" "Ducati Monster, sitting in my apartment right now." She raised an eyebrow. "Italian bikes. Fancy? They're reliable, if you know how to maintain them. Do you?" I looked up at her, and something sparked between us. "Yeah, I do." She smiled, and it transformed her entire face. "I'm Blake Stone. Jordan Casey." She held out her hand, and when I took it, her grip was firm and warm and sent electricity up my arm. "Thanks for the help, Jordan. Most people would have just kept walking." "I'm not most people." "No," she studied me. "No, I don't think you are." She pulled a card from her pocket and handed it to me. "If you ever want to ride with people who actually know what they're doing, look us up." The card said Steel Hearts Motorcycle Club with an address on the south side of the city. I should have said no. I should have walked away right then. But something about Blake made me want to stay. "Maybe I will," I said. She grinned. "I hope you do." I showed up at the Steel Hearts clubhouse 3 days later. It was a converted warehouse with bikes lined up outside like soldiers. Music thumped from inside, and I could see people moving around through the windows. My stomach was in knots as I walked in. But the second I stepped through the door, Blake was there. "You came," she said, and the smile on her face made all my anxiety disappear. I said I might. "Glad you did." Come on, I'll introduce you to everyone. The crew was smaller than Marcus had been, maybe 20 people total, but they felt different, more aggressive, more welcoming. Blake introduced me to Harper, the president, a woman in her 50s with silver hair and kind eyes who looked me over and nodded once. Welcome. If Blake brought you in, you're good with us. Thanks. We're doing a night ride in an hour, Blake said. Coastal route. You in? I hesitated for only a second. I'm in. That ride changed everything. We flew through the city streets and out onto the coastal highway where the ocean stretched black and infinite beside us. Blake led the pack, and I stayed right behind her, matching her speed, following her line through every curve. When we finally stopped at an overlook, she walked over to me as I pulled off my helmet. You ride like you've got something to prove, she said. Maybe I do. She looked at me, really looked at me, and I felt exposed in a way that should have scared me but didn't. Whatever you're running from, you're safe here. How do you know I'm running from something? Because I recognize the look. I ran once too. What were you running from? She was quiet for a moment, then said, a version of myself I didn't like. Found a better one out here. I nodded. That's what I'm trying to do. Then you're in the right place. We stood there in the moonlight, and I felt something shift between us, something dangerous and thrilling and completely inevitable. Over the next few weeks, Blake and I became inseparable. We rode together almost every night. She taught me the city, showed me the hidden spots where bikers gathered, introduced me to the crew properly. But more than that, she listened. She didn't push me to talk about my past, but when I offered pieces of it, she held them carefully. She told me about her own history, about growing up in foster care, about finding family in the Steel Hearts, about learning to trust people again after years of disappointment. And slowly, carefully, I started to fall for her. I tried to fight it, tried to keep walls up, keep distance between us. But Blake had a way of slipping past every defense I built. She'd show up at my apartment with coffee before my shift. She'd text me random thoughts in the middle of the night. She'd look at me like I was the only person in the world that mattered. 2 months after we met, everything came to a head. We were working on her bike in her garage, something we'd done dozens of times. But this time, when she handed me a wrench and our fingers touched, neither of us pulled away. Jordan, she said quietly. Yeah? I need to tell you something. Okay. I'm falling for you. Hard. And I know that might complicate things, but I can't keep pretending I don't feel this way. My heart stopped, then started again double time. Blake, I'm fallen for you since the night we met. She smiled, that brilliant smile that lit up her whole face. Then why are we still pretending? She leaned in, giving me time to pull away, but I didn't. I closed the distance and kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative, like we were both afraid of breaking the moment. Then she deepened it, and everything else disappeared. Her hands cupped my face, mine tangled in her hair. When we finally pulled apart, we were both breathing hard. I've wanted to do that for weeks, she whispered. Me too. She kissed me again, and I felt like I was finally home. The next 3 months were perfect. Blake and I fell into an easy rhythm. I spent most nights at her place, a small house on a quiet street with a garage full of bike parts and tools. We'd work on bikes during the day, ride with the crew at night, fall asleep tangled together. The crew accepted us completely. Harper pulled me aside one night and said, I'm glad Blake found you. She's been alone too long. I'm glad I found her too. The only shadow over everything was the constant fear in the back of my mind, the knowledge that Marcus was still out there, that he might still be looking for me. But as the weeks passed and nothing happened, I started to relax, started to believe maybe I'd actually gotten away. That was my first mistake. It was a Tuesday night when my past caught up with me. Blake and I were at a diner after a crew ride, laughing over burgers and fries when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. My blood went cold, but I told myself it was probably spam. Then it buzzed again. And again. Blake noticed my face. What's wrong? I don't know. I opened the messages and my world tilted. 3 photos. The first was of me leaving my apartment that morning. The second was of me at work. The third was of Blake and me kissing outside her house. Below them, a message. Found you, Jordan. We need to talk. Tomorrow night, Pier parking lot, 10 p.m. Come alone or your new girlfriend learns what happens when you run for me. My hand started shaking so badly I dropped the phone. Blake caught it, looked at the screen, and her expression went dark. Who is this? My ex, Marcus, the one I told you about. He's here, in Seattle, and he knows about you.
Blake's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed calm. Okay,
We handle this. Blake, you don't understand. He's dangerous. So am I. She took my hands. Listen to me, Jordan. You're not alone anymore. You've got me, you've got the crew. We're not letting him hurt you. He said to come alone, and we're not doing that. She pulled out her own phone and started texting. Blake, what are you doing? Calling in backup. Harper needs to know about this. Within an hour, we were at the Steelhearts clubhouse with the entire crew gathered. I explained everything about Marcus, about the Serpent Kings, about why I'd run. Harper listened without interrupting, then looked around the room. Here's what we're going to do. Jordan shows up at the pier like he asked, but we have people positioned all around. If he tries anything, we move in. What if he brings his crew? Harper asked. Then we handle that too. But this ends tomorrow night, one way or another. I barely slept that night. Blake held me close, whispered promises that everything would be okay, but I could hear the fear underneath her words. What if he hurts you because of me? I asked. He won't. How can you be sure? Because I won't let him get close enough. She kissed my forehead. I mean it, Jordan. I'd go through hell for you. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Because I love you. My breath caught. Blake, I love you too. I've been wanting to say it for weeks, but I was scared. Don't be scared. Not of this. She pulled me closer, and I buried my face in her shoulder and tried to believe we'd get through this. The next night, I rode to the pier with my heart in my throat. Harper and Blake were already in position, hidden behind a delivery truck on the north side of the lot. Other crew members covered the south and east entrances. I parked in the center under a flickering streetlight and waited. At exactly 10 p.m., headlights swept across the lot. A motorcycle rolled in, followed by another, then another. 5 bikes total. 5 riders in Serpent King's cuts. My stomach dropped. Marcus got off his bike slowly, deliberately. He looked exactly the same. Tall, muscular, dark hair pulled back, cold eyes that missed nothing. The other 4 riders stayed on their bikes, engines rumbling. Marcus walked toward me, and every instinct I had screamed to run. But I stayed. Jordan, he said when he got close. It's been a long time. What do you want, Marcus? What I've always wanted. You. That's not happening. He smiled, and it was cruel. You don't get to decide that. Yeah, I do. I left. I moved on. I'm with someone else now. That girl, he gestured dismissively. She's nothing. You're mine, Jordan. You'll always be mine. She's everything, I said, surprised by the strength in my own voice. And I'm not yours. I never was. His expression darkened. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was staying with you as long as I did. Suddenly, Blake's voice cut through the night. She's right. You are a mistake. Blake stepped out of the shadows with Harper beside her. Within seconds, the rest of the Steelhearts crew appeared from their positions, surrounding Marcus and his riders. Marcus looked around, then back at me. You brought backup. Did you really think I'd come alone? Smart girl. But you should know. This doesn't change anything. Yeah, it does, Harper said, stepping forward. This is our city, our crew, our family, and Jordan's one of us now. So here's how this works. You and your people leave. You never contact her again. You forget she exists. Marcus laughed. Or what? Or you find out what happens when you mess with the Steelhearts. We might be smaller than your crew, but we fight dirty when we have to. And trust me, we're ready to fight. One of Marcus's riders spoke up. Boss, there's more of them than we thought. Marcus's jaw worked. He looked at me, and I saw the calculation in his eyes. Fine, he said finally. But this isn't over, Jordan. Yes, it is, Blake said, stepping between us. You come near her again, you even think about her, and you'll deal with me personally. And who are you exactly? I'm the woman who loves her, the woman who will protect her, the woman who will make you regret every second of the pain you caused her. something flickered in Marcus's expression. Maybe respect or fear? He looked at his riders, then back at us. "Let's go." They started their bikes and rolled out slowly, deliberately. We all stayed tense, ready for anything. But they just left. The second they were gone, my legs gave out. Brake caught me before I hit the ground. "I've got you," she whispered. "I've got you." "I'm sorry," I sobbed. "I'm so sorry I brought this to you." "Don't apologize. Never apologize for surviving." Harper walked over. "He won't come back. Men like that are cowards. They only fight when they think they'll win. And he knows he can't win this." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. But if he does try anything, we'll be ready." "Thank you. All of you." "That's what family does," Harper said simply. We rode back to the clubhouse together, and the crew celebrated like we just won a war. Maybe we had. Blake pulled me aside after an hour. "Let's go home." "Your place or mine?" "Ours," she said. "I've been thinking about that. About us living together." "Really? Really?" "If you want to." "I do. I want that more than anything." "Then let's make it official. Starting tomorrow, we find a place that's ours." The next few weeks were a blur of apartment hunting and packing and building a life together. We found a small 2-bedroom with a garage, perfect for working on bikes. The crew helped us move in, and Harper gave us a housewarming gift, a framed photo of Blake and me on our bikes with the Seattle skyline behind us. "For the family you chose," the card said. I cried when I read it. Blake and I fell into an easy domestic rhythm. She made coffee in the mornings, I cooked dinner at night. We worked on bikes in the garage, rode with the crew on weekends, built a life that felt real and solid and ours. 3 months after the confrontation with Marcus, Blake came home with a nervous energy I'd never seen before. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong. I have something I want to ask you." "Okay." She took my hands and I saw she was shaking. "Jordan Casey, these past few months with you have been the best of my life. You make me braver and stronger and happier than I ever thought I could be. And I don't want to spend another day wondering if you'll stay. I want to know you're mine. Forever." She pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was a simple silver band with a black stone. "Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down my face. "Yes. God, yes." She slid the ring onto my finger and kissed me hard. We held each other in our little garage, crying happy tears and laughing. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too. Always." We told the crew the next day, and they erupted in celebration. Harper cried, which I'd never seen before. We started planning a small ceremony, just the crew and a few friends. A wedding at the Overlook where Blake first told me I was safe. Simple and perfect. The day of the wedding arrived with clear skies and warm wind. I stood at the edge of the cliff in a simple white dress, looking out at the crew gathered behind us. Blake stood across from me in black pants and a leather jacket, her hair down, her eyes bright. Harper officiated. We're here because these two women found each other when they both needed someone most. Through danger and fear and uncertainty, they built something beautiful, something real. She looked at us. "Blake, Jordan, do you promise to ride through life together, to protect each other, to love each other through every storm?" "We do," we said together. "Then by the power vested in me and by the Steelhearts, I pronounce you married." Blake pulled me close and kissed me while the crew cheered. And as the sun set over Seattle, I realized something. I'd stopped running. I'd found home, not in a place, but in a person. In Blake, in the crew, in the life we'd built together. Marcus had tried to destroy me, but instead he'd pushed me toward the best thing that ever happened to me. And now, with Blake's hand in mine and the open road ahead of us, I was finally, truly free. 6 months after our wedding, Blake and I were sitting in our garage working on a custom build for a client when my phone rang. Unknown number. My body tensed immediately, but Blake squeezed my hand. "It's okay. I'm right here." I answered,
and a voice I didn't recognize spoke. "Is this Jordan Stone?"
Yes, this is Detective Martinez with Portland PD. I'm calling to inform you that Marcus Cole was arrested this morning on multiple charges, including stalking, harassment, and assault of another woman. He's looking at serious prison time. My hand flew to my mouth. Are you serious? Completely serious. We found evidence linking him to several cases. You're safe now, Mrs. Stone. He won't be bothering you or anyone else for a very long time. I hung up and turned to Blake with tears streaming down my face. He's going to prison. It's really over. She pulled me into her arms and held me while I cried tears of relief. It's over, baby. You're safe. We're safe. That night, we rode out to our favorite overlook and watched the stars come out. Blake wrapped her arms around me from behind. "What are you thinking about?" I asked. "How lucky I am. How this all started with a broken-down bike and ended with everything I ever wanted." She turned me around to face her. "You saved me that night, Jordan, just as much as I saved you. We saved each other, and we're going to keep saving each other. Every single day, for the rest of our lives." I kissed her under the stars, and for the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. No more fear, no more running, just love, just freedom, just us. Two riders, two hearts, one road stretching endlessly ahead, and we were ready for every mile of it, together.